Greetings and welcome back. It's Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, and the Limbaugh Institute, where there are no graduates or degrees because the learning never stops. Okay, we looked it up. In Obama's 2010 State of the Union, he used the pronoun I 105 times. Trump last night used the pronoun I 29 times. And the personal pronoun we even more than that. Obama said I 109 times, I'm 16 times, my 10 times, and me 11 times. So let's add that up. 105 and 16 is 121, and 10 is 31, and 11 is 142 times. Obama referred to himself in the 2010 State of the Union. Last night, Donald Trump referred to himself 29 times. They say Trump is a narcissist, and they say Trump is self-focused and all of these other things. Donald Trump, last night, bore no resemblance to the Donald Trump that is portrayed every day and has been portrayed every day for over 2 years by the Democrat Party and the American media, which is redundant. It's one and the same. He didn't sound like, he didn't look like, he didn't act like. One example. He didn't look like a thing like the Donald Trump that is portrayed in the media each and every day. So it begs the question, how many Democrats watching this were perplexed and surprised what they saw? Don't forget the CBS number, folks. I'm telling you, 43% of Democrats who watched this thing last night liked it. It's a big number. I was continually, I have to tell you, I was happy. I was happy when the Democrats sat and didn't applaud and didn't stand up. I was happy. I wanted the American people to see it. I was happy when Pelosi had her sourpuss face, like gumming like the dentures had slipped, was Polident wasn't working or something. I loved it when they looked at each other with confusion, as if to say they're applauding that. You were sad. I wasn't. Come on, don't tell me you were sad. Yeah. You were sad when you saw the Congressional Black. What do you think these people? Sturgis is saying he was sad when the Congressional Black Caucasians sat there as statues and did not react even positively to the great news of African American unemployment. I understand if we can't agree on that. If we can't agree that that's good, then what are we going to agree on? Did you think they would applaud that? You see, none of the Democrat behavior last night surprised me. Folks, and I'm not saying this because I want you to, think of me as brilliant. I'm telling you the truth. I know these people. I know what makes them tick. I know what they hate. I know what animates them and motivates them. I know what scares them. I know what excites them. And good news for America, as it was portrayed last night, it's not good news to them. Not just the Congressional Black Caucasians, but the entire Democrat caucus. The Congressional Black Caucasians, there was a black family. There were two black families that Trump highlighted last night who had lost families to crime committed by illegal immigrant gangs, MS-13. The Congressional Black Caucasians didn't even stand for that. There wasn't a dry eye in the House. And the Democrats were unmoved by it. And yet we're told that it's the Democrat Party that owns compassion. It's the Democrats that care. The Democrats that care about the little people. But most Democrats did not stand. There were 4 grieving parents last night whose daughters were killed by MS-13. Joy Reid on MSNBC said, MS-13? Nobody knows what MS-13 is. Nobody cares what MS-13 is. That's a Fox News thing. Nobody knows what that is. She also says, let me find the Joy Reid. This is, at one time, Joy Reid and the Democrats that you saw in the Florida House last, one time they were the outliers. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, they were there, but they were considered to be the wacko extreme of the Democrat Party, and mainstream Democrats had to accommodate them, but they didn't define who the Democrat Party was. Those people have taken over now, and what used to be the mainstream of the Democrat Party is gone. Here's a Joy Reid tweet. She's an MSNBC hostette. She was livid at Trump talking about patriotic things, including family. Here's her tweet. Church, family, police, military, the national anthem. Trump trying to call on all of those tropes of 1950s era nationalism. The goal of this speech appears to be to force the normalization of Trump on the terms of the bygone era his supporters are nostalgic for. And that era is when church and family, the national anthem, the military were respected, supported. That's a bygone era, and in her world, I'm telling you it is. Enjoy Ann Reid's world. Family is not anything like it used to be. Family is however people want to organize. Families, America has, Katie has two fathers or Katie has two mothers, whatever your family is. In fact, the ideal American family is a gay married to a transgender with a eunuch kid. That's a great average American family, and they've got to be victims of something. The average American family is a victim, doesn't have enough benefits, is mistreated by its corporations, doesn't have health care. That's the average American family. People victimized and in need. Church, that's old-fashioned. And the police, of course, they're nothing but a bunch of marauding murderers. I'm telling you, 25 years ago, this program we would laugh at this. We did constantly, thinking nobody could ever believe this. But now this has come to define the Democrat Party. Here, Trump, a simple statement of patriotism last night, numerous times. And in response to that, in response to standing for the greatest symbol of freedom the world's ever known, the American flag, the Capitol, do you know they couldn't even applaud their own Capitol? I have to admit to you, I was moved by that. The president talking about the Capitol, and particularly the statue atop the dome, as the light, as the symbol, as the gift to the American people, epitomizing freedom and so forth. And in response to that amazing dedication, in response to standing up for the greatest symbol of freedom the world's ever known, the Democrats looked sullen, they looked angry, and they remained seated. Now tell me how you negotiate with that. How do you cross the aisle and negotiate with that? How do you find common ground with people who cannot and will not respond to a basic call of patriotism, who believe that it is racist or bigoted or discriminatory or exclusionary? Democrats throughout this past year, look at what happened. They organized themselves against the American flag. They organized themselves against a song paying tribute to an impossibly brave fight for freedom. That would be the national anthem. The Democrat Party organized and supported actions against the flag, against the anthem, To me, it's the same thing as organizing against freedom itself, organizing against the inherent good in trusting individual human beings to know how to best pursue life, liberty, and happiness for themselves. And the Democrats happily protest that. They happily organize against it. And that, my friends, is much of what liberalism is all about, organizing against the interests of free people. If you could take a picture of that, it would be last night in the House chamber, where one patriotic display after another, where one expression of thanks, every expression of gratitude, every recitation of support, the Democrat Party sat on its hands and didn't just sit. They looked angry, confused, befuddled. Donald Trump did reach across the aisle. Donald Trump did attempt to unify. He gave the left an opportunity to stand for freedom, and the Democrats refused. They steadfastly refused to stand for freedom. They've got a different definition of it. And the media last night, after the speech, so many of them, I don't know, it was kind of a letdown one. Yeah, Chris, it was kind of a dud of a speech. We were told the president's going to reach across the aisle and try to extend a hand of compromise and unity with the Democrats. We didn't see it, did we? And it was left to Dana Perino, little Dana Perino, who's a never-Trumper, or was. I mean, I don't know where she is now, but she's a Bush world never-Trumper. It was left to Dana Perino to say, excuse me, you guys, but I can kind of see where the White House is coming from on this. I mean, who wouldn't unify around great unemployment news? Who wouldn't want to unify around the great news of African-American unemployment being as low as it's been? Who wouldn't want to unify around all of this great economic, robust recovery, new wages, new bonuses? Who wouldn't want to unify around that? And she was right on the money. And there were people looking confused and stupefied that they had missed that. I mean, how you miss the beauty of that presentation last night? How you miss it? How you look at, well, man, I don't think Trump hit the right notes at all. I just didn't hit it there. One, it was kind of a, missed the mark a little bit. And Juan Williams thought it was just short of a disaster. But again, in their world, compromise means letting the Democrats have their way and win. Compromise means letting the Democrats run the compromise. In this instance would mean Trump admitting that he has been a buffoon and realizing he's got to grow up and include the Democrats in his agenda, let them run it. That would have been Trump unifying. Here's our montage. Audio soundbite number 2. Rather than put together a montage of oddball things that Democrats said or great things that Trump, what we did, we decided to illustrate via issues. Every statement here that you hear Trump make is an issue that Democrats sat on their hands for and made faces. They were angry, they were sullen, they were confused. Every example here that you will hear is when the Democrats refused to applaud, refused to join, and simply sat there looking angry.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong. Since the election, we have created 2.4 million new jobs, 200,000 new jobs in manufacturing, rising wages. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. African-American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded. Hispanic American unemployment has also reached the lowest levels in history. The stock market has smashed one record after another, gaining $8 trillion and more in value. 401k, retirement pension, and college savings accounts have gone through the roof. Millions of Americans will have more take-home pay. 3 million workers have already gotten tax cut bonuses. Apple has just announced it plans to invest a total of $350 billion in America. ExxonMobil announced a $50 billion investment. Chrysler is moving a major plant from Mexico to Michigan. Toyota and Mazda are opening up a plant in Alabama. Last year, the FDA approved more new and generic drugs and medical devices than ever before in our country's history. We have sent thousands and thousands and thousands of MS-13 horrible people out of this country. The coalition to defeat ISIS has liberated very close to 100% of the territory just recently held by these killers. Freedom stands tall over one more monument. This one is capital, this living monument. This is the monument to the American people.
Not one, not a single one of those statements was applauded by the Democrats. They all sat. And when Trump celebrated gutting Obamacare by getting rid of the individual man, oh, you should have seen that if you didn't. And then when Trump scorched the NFL again and the anthem protesters, I was waiting for Trump to really jam him up on climate change, but he didn't go there last night on that. But that would have been, the final dot under the exclamation point. Back in a second here, folks.
Never tells the truth. That's why.
Okay, we've learned a little more about why Trey Gowdy is retiring from Congress. He says, I will not be filing for re-election nor seeking any other political or elected office. Instead, I'll be returning to the justice system. Whatever skills I may have are better utilized in a courtroom than in Congress. And I enjoy our justice system more than our political system. Trey Gowdy. Going back to justice system. I wonder if that could mean, no, I better not speculate. We'll just wait and see. I'll put my guess on a piece of paper, fold it up, and give it to you later. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Last night, I was watching this thing. And near the end of it, a Democrat rose. This is the bottom of my TV screen. A Democrat rose in frustration. All I could see was the guy's back. But you could tell he rose in anger. And he made his way to the aisle, which was not a very long walk, and turned around and darted out of there. And one other member of Congress patted him on the back as though the guy were in great pain or needed some encouragement. And today I found out what that was all about. That was Democrat Congressman Luis Gutierrez storming out of the House chamber as the chant USA, USA began. Luis Gutierrez stormed out of the State of the Union address Tuesday night as USA, USA chants erupted on the House floor. Towards the end of the speech, Gutierrez was spotted on camera getting up and leaving the chamber after Trump praised the monuments. The Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the United States Capitol, Martin Luther King, memorials to the heroes of Yorktown and Saratoga, to young Americans who shed their blood on the shores of Normandy and the fields beyond. And that's when the chants of USA, USA began. And that's when Luis Gutierrez, Democrat, Illinois, could take it no longer and stood and stormed out in anger. And these people think they're going to win the House in 2018.
And now,
over on PMSNBC, they went to Tom Brokaw after the State of the Union. Say, Tom, what are your thoughts? He said, You know what? I think it's time to end the State of the Union. We don't need these speeches anymore. You imagine Tom Brokaw or any of these other clowns suggesting we need to end the State of the Union after a bravura of performance by Barack Hussein? Oh, it would never happen. Yeah, we need to end these. It's a waste of time. They don't accomplish anything. Besides, Trump was too good. It really doesn't help us. Trump does not look anything like we have been characterizing him for people. There were five, in addition to our montage, there were five things the Democrats refused to applaud. They're more than this, but here are the five of note. The national anthem, tax cuts, record low black unemployment, veterans. In God We Trust. Trump mentioned that In God We Trust is right there over the podium in the House chamber. And the Democrats would not applaud that either. To the phones we return. Here's Todd in Charlotte, North Carolina. Your thoughts. How are you doing?
Hi, Mr. Limbaugh, mega dittos.
Thank you, sir.
So I have been ecstatic with this president, and I grows happier every time I hear him or even hear about his tweets. I loved everything he said. He's becoming more and more my favorite president ever. So I love his courage, and just seeing that bitter, gummy Nancy Pelosi with her depends in a wad twisting every time something is mentioned is kind of
You think that's what the
bizarre.
problem was? You think the depends were kind of creeping up the crevice there? I thought it was maybe the adhesive for the I'm having a minute. The dentures, yeah. You think the depends was kind of wadded up, huh?
Yeah, I do. She's probably so loaded with some stuff she probably needed a second pair on. So, but the Democrats in general, they're just always bitter. They don't even show any want to attempt to get to the other side. They're kind of like what you say, the Palestinians. They start with let's start with killing all the Jews from there. That's what Democrats are. We're not going to start with anything but defeating the Republicans. There's no working with people. It's just defeat them. And they need to be defeated.
Amen, bro. Amen. It is interesting to hear other people's reaction to this speech last night. Well, I like to put myself in the shoes of the Democrats. It may be a waste of time, but it's not if the purpose of it is entertainment, and for me it is. So I don't live any longer with the hope that the Democrats can be persuaded. I don't care what Trump's reputation as a persuader is. I mean the Democrats in that body last night, the Democrats in the House and Senate. I understand there are Democrats listening to this program who will convert or be persuaded randomly, and it happens frequently in small numbers, and it has for the entire period of time we've been on the air. But in mass numbers, it doesn't. I don't expect it to. And I don't expect the Democrats in Congress to all of a sudden realize that they have been wrong about Trump. They can't. They're locked in their position. Now, why are they locked? Are they locked because they've staked it out and they are being controlled by their madcap base and they can't be flexible because the base will abandon them? Or is this who they really are? Well, it depends on which Democrat you're talking about. I'll be honest, I think Chuck Schumer is not nearly the lunatic radical that the people who vote for him are, but he's still a radical leftist. But I think Chuck Schumer is a Democrat who would move off of some Democrat positions if he weren't afraid of his base. He's a guy that if compromise was the order of the day, I think he could compromise with him. But he can't ever, as long as the people that vote for him remain the people that vote for him. Other Democrats, they're hopeless. There is no way they can ever modify. They go into a speech like last night. You have to examine, okay, what is their mindset? What are their desires? What do they really think of Trump when this thing starts last night? And I believe that most Democrats, and especially Democrat voters who do not watch anything other but drive-by media, really think that Trump is insane, really believe that Trump is unbalanced. They really believe that he is suffering from dementia. They really believe that he doesn't read. They really believe that he doesn't know anything. And so they go into events like this fully expecting to see it. They don't believe Trump can mask it or hide it. They don't believe every word being put on a teleprompter will save Trump from going off script and stepping in it, so to speak. So what happened last night happens, and they are clueless. They're lost. It doesn't compute. And what they're really mad about last night, and remain angry today, is that Trump hit a home run. They are angry that Trump did it. They're angry that Trump isn't who they have been portraying him to be. They're angry that America is improving with Trump's policies. They are angry that Trump is an outsider and nobody, know nothing, is able to come in and reduce African-American unemployment in 1 year lower than it's ever been, with the Democrat Party ostensibly being on the case, trying to make it happen for 50 years. So their anger last night, and there are many spokes on the wheel of their anger. They're angry that Trump won. They're angry he's giving the speech. They're angry that he's succeeding. They're angry they haven't gotten rid of him yet. They're angry that the Russia collusion thing is bombed out. They are just literally, they are the ones, I think, losing their grasp on reality. Last night's State of the Union speech was, it turns out, exactly what one is supposed to be. The Founding Fathers, when establishing the country, established this idea that the president, every January, February, would send a report to members of Congress on the State of the Union. Hey, we're okay, we're not okay, things are going well, here's what they're not going, what's what we need to do. And it was a very informal thing. And then it was decided way back long ago that this should happen in person. The president should go up there and make a speech. And in our lifetimes, State of the Union speeches have not been about the State of the Union at all. They have been the sitting president and majority party giving speeches containing laundry lists of the things they intend to provide or give as many people as they can, coupled with incessant criticism of the opposition party. For Obama, the State of the Union was a giant gloat occasion, and it was an opportunity to explain how he was going to transform America and to elucidate all of the problems that America had and all the problems America caused and all of the wrongs and injustices traceable to America which needed to be fixed. And, of course, most of those were domestic, some of them international, but America had really failed in its mission of inclusiveness and diversity and civil rights and all this. And the Democrat Obama State of the Union was a combination of here's what's wrong with America that we're going to fix, and what's wrong with America is basically the way that it was founded. And here's how we're going to fix it. And we're going to take things from people who have a lot, and we're going to give them to you because you deserve them, because you've been screwed. And we're going to cure cancer, and we're going to cure athletes' feet, and we're going to cure this, we're going to do this. And it was a just giant wish list. Last night, we actually got a State of the Union. We have a president who established a premise that the nation is good. State of the Union, solid, it's good, and it's getting better. And what followed was the evidence. Evidentiary examples followed. Some of the examples involved his policies succeeding. Other examples were the stories of his guests in the gallery that he detailed. And every one of those people in that gallery last night, the guests, every one of those people had overcome adversity. They had achieved something great. They had experienced something horrible. But they were brought into the room to have it explained to them that everybody's hearts in America were with them once it was learned what had happened. And that this government was now attempting to root out the evil that had killed the children of some of the guests last night so that it hopefully would not happen to other families. They were brought into the room as a means of providing them comfort and as a way for the president to tell them that their loss was not final, that they are on a team, that they are in an extended family who grieve for them and with them, and will do everything they can to make sure other families don't suffer the same plight, rather than these people remain anonymous, their stories unreported. But they, too, were examples of great strength. They, too, were examples of the unique American spirit. So we had a State of the Union that was a State of the Union with evidence. Example after example after example. It's not going great because I say so, Trump said. It's going great because it is going great. And his message was, and this is where he has this bond with the people that support him that remains somehow mysterious to people that don't understand it. He let it be known to each and every one that he believes, well, first and foremost, that he loves this country. Unabashedly loves this country. Thinks this is the greatest country and wants everybody who lives here to think the same thing. And he thinks it's the greatest country because of its people. And there was the bond, a connection, once again being recognized. The people he brought into the gallery, the young man from North Korea who engaged in a 2-year journey against death and torture just to become an American. That's all he wanted, just to become an American. Admitted to his captures in China that he was a Christian. That's a death sentence. He admitted it. He went all through Asia, to Vietnam, just to become an American. The value was also clear in showing oppressed people all over the world that there is hope for them because of the United States. But the other message was that you can do it. These people overcame their obstacles individually as part of an extended American family and nation. And Trump loves it and realizes that it is what it is. We are what we are. Our country is what it is because of our people and our founding. So it genuinely was a State of the Union. It was a beautifully presented, truthfully illustrated State of the Union. And the message was, we're just getting started. It can be even better. And it was a call to action and an expressed desire for everybody in that audience to climb on board and participate. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was in some ways a speech only an outsider and a non-establishment type could give, because it takes an outsider to see America this way when inside that beltway. Back in just a second.
You're listening to Rush
folks, it's. I overused the word amazing. I'm sorry. It's just, it is. Since 12 noon, every cable network has been nonstop on this train wreck. The GOP train wiping out the pickup truck, the dump truck. I mean, maybe a 5 or 10 minute period where they cover other news. But talking about the State of the Union last night has not happened. I know a lot of that went on this morning. But when this train wreck happened, that was it. Now the story is that buses are being arranged in Charlottesville, where the Republicans who were on the train are now going to transfer to the buses in order to go to their rich and highfalutin retreat while the injured remain injured. It just, I know that's how CNN's treating this. Here's Jay in Fairfax, Virginia. Hi, great to have you here.
Thanks for taking my call, Rush.
You bet.
You know, I've been listening to you since the '80s, and you know, I appreciate your bringing clarity, honesty, and truth to the American people. And like you, President Trump did the same thing last night. It was such a pleasure to hear from a leader who cares about people he serves. We haven't heard that for the last 8 years, in my opinion. But I have a comment and then a question that I want your opinion on.
Okay.
You know, as we know, the left really does have a big problem and a lot of things. I mean, it's been a great last year, a great first year for Trump. But I want to talk about tax reform and how tangible it is for the average American. Personally, for my home, it's going to mean over $3,000 more per year in our hands. That's astounding.
That's crumbs.
Okay?
That's crumbs.
Well,
that's nothing. That's crumbs. The Democrats say it's crumbs. You should be happier with a welfare check. Or maybe some assistance with your health care insurance.
Yeah.
Jay, hang on. We're starting. Your connection's wavering, but I want to keep talking to you, so you don't hang up out there. I have to take a break. Don't go away.
To Rush
We'll be back.
The soundtrack.
Is anybody there?
Life on the ER.